Leo hacks into the Void, where the developers were hiding, but instead of engaging in more warfare, both sides stop at the sight of a mysterious Void castle that had appeared overnight out of nowhere between the developers' islands. The developers had sealed the castle using a key they split into 5 parts they called digital remnants, each of which were hidden on their islands. All of the NPCs, whether neutral or not, barring 5, had gathered for this occasion, likely because they didn't appreciate being erased during the final battle. Each of them have their own mini-quests to defeat whatever was brewing in the Void Castle, dropping separate exposition and short storylines that delve a little deeper into the quality of life touches they are experiencing. Jax is able to calm the NPCs down and offer developer Coven K a chance to speak to them and make negotiations in the form of a temporary truce. While still uneasy, Luna lets the agents spread out and cooperate with the developers in order to stop a common enemy, who each side would worry about in the form of the Void Castle. Blaze suggested there was some sort of boss inside, as well as a puzzle that some brave soul, the player, would have to figure out. Each of the developers get a chance to talk to the NPCs and the player about what they had done. The player finds many of the NPCs huddled into different groups preparing to enter the Void Castle. Some of them had been able to catch up with each other, as Riley shows Leo the world of cute cat videos. The neutrals, Adam, Jesse and Finsley, show up as a group just wanting to join in the action. Fern, Jax and Ace are amending their relations as they catch up, establishing Jax and Ace as a canon couple, and Ace and Fern having a brother-sister relationship. Ace, in particular, is trying to well down his guilt for the Rift accident, trying to amend relations with Leo, as he did lock him up in the castle courtyard. The Ilum clones are happy being a family on DD-1147's island, whereas Victor and Human just vibe on Goro 7's island. Yoko and Rowan get to have a breather with Liz on Makimon's island, and the gatekeeper Joven and Billy just sort of are standing there on VXC's island, not really doing much. They're just there for the battle at the Void Castle. So the player first talks to developer Coven K, who explains her talks with the NPCs and how the developers need to do some tests in order to make sure they can trust everyone. They set up a passcode system where the player has to exchange codes from the other developers in order to gain their trust, in order to get their digital remnants and defeat the boss in the Void Castle. The developers are also taking ghost samples as the ghostly energy coming from the castle is through the roof. Next is developer DD-1147, who explains their perspective during the final battle, trying to not so much as justify, more so trying to give reason for their actions in erasing the NPCs. He doesn't say it was the right thing to do, and he and the other developers gravely apologize for it all. After that, the player meets with developer Makimon, who wants to talk to the player about some background issues and subplots that are currently going underway. In particular, she talks about her experience as the main story writer and how she messed with Shelley's code while the player was doing her questline. During the talks, Shelley forgave her for everything and even gave her a gift to cement their relationship. Maki talks about how there was an original plot that the player never went through, where the characters like Shelley, Bo and Ace had original NPC counterparts named Alice, Joker, etc., who had been forgotten. After that, the player meets with developer VXC, who has the same situation and guilt as Makimon, but instead of having it with Shelley, it's with Ace, as he was the one who suggested making him into a spy. His guilt proves himself to be extremely vulnerable and sorrowful, which deeply reflects the ideas each of the developers must have been thinking of. Finally, the player meets with Goro 7, who gives insight on what the team were doing throughout the years, how they would form and go on to make this insanely jam-packed game. A lot of the exposition from these questlines I have said and used elsewhere, so I apologize for the lack of depth I'm going to for some of the developers. The player, with all 5 of the digital remnants, unlocks the Void Castle. Having talked to each developer and heard from all the NPCs, there was only one last resolution to the whole plot, and that was to defeat this boss. The castle was littered with event items like Easter eggs, Santa dollars, turkey legs, the Halloween candy, candy canes, and snowflakes. Once completing the maze puzzle inside, the player finds a cane, the Void Cane. When the player enters the arena, which the cane was used to unlock, they find the boss. And I'm sure you know who it is, that dapper-looking green ghost prankster, Bo. The Mad Lad had actually waged war on the NPCs and developers, bringing forth the ghostly army he had prepared for the player over the events, hacking into the void and setting up this entire castle. And of course, he fails in his fight against the player. Or does he? You see, Bo isn't the type to attack people for no reason. He's well-mannered, a gentle ghost, if you will. Have you noticed how the developers and NPCs weren't fighting because of this one threat? His intentions were never to cause more conflict. He was only starting a war to end the one that had devastated all of his friends, and his plan was a success. After the player defeats Boss Bo, they are awarded with the hero's crown. After Bo breaks down into tears from celebration, the war was finally over. Everyone was amazed by Bo's flawless plan. It was time for the end of the war, and every NPC was about to get their final say to the player. Luna thanks them from the bottom of their heart for lifting the NPCs out and helping them gain freedom, while the developers thank the player for saving their creations, earning their friendship. Yoko and Rowan go to the Block City to mourn their lost friends, while Fern hosts a celebration picnic for everybody. I wanted to end off with Gabe because I think he has the most complex story in the Void. Jax and Riley had come up to him in the forest and dragged him into the void, where he was all of a sudden granted sentience. He was plopped into a world where he had to cope with the fact that he's a video game character. As a result, he wants to just sit down and think after the battle with Bo. He wants to thank the developers for creating his friends, and he wants to think and figure out the meaning of life. However deep that may be, it's up to your inference. I've mistaken this for an existential crisis before, but it's not, as he isn't questioning his own self-worth. Gabe is going through what Blaze had to keep a secret for so long, but now he has everyone to help him along the way, and everyone is happy with it. And that's the end of the Lore of Ghosts Simulator. But of course we aren't ending here. There's still like a whole chapter to go.